Sonic Forces Success Chapter 1 Useless.
I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe that Eggman, although being evil and my arch nemesis, would do something as horrible as chuck me out into the black and empty void of space. I thought it was a simple joke, so that's what I acted like, even after Zavok had entered where I was being held prisoner, with a smirk that read triumph all over it. Did I let it bother me? Of course not. This is me we're talking about. I don't take lots of things seriously. Even though these past 6 months were supposed to give me a hint or a clue, but I chose to ignore what happened as I watched him enter, giving him a fake smirk of confidence as a boom sounded. Sounds like the party started. Wanna let me in? No? Of course not. You hate fun. The bars to my cell opened as Zavok pressed the button, chuckling at my comment.
Laugh and joke all you want, you pesky blue rats. But this time, your antics won't save you now. Neither will your friends, especially not after you're thrown out helplessly into space.
I rolled my eyes at him. Yeah, right. Threatening me like that won't scare me at all.
Threatening?
Zavok rose a brow, and the next moment he was in my face, his most evil grin plastered on.
No. I believe you've gotten mixed up. We are doing Hedgehog as of now.
And that's what started to wake me up. He grasped the tiny chain that held the cuffs around my already bruised wrists and pulled me along with a violent yank. I hissed with pain, trying to get my feet untangled so I could struggle against him. But unfortunately, he had a rather strong grip on the cuffs, being a lot bigger and taller than me. Suddenly I felt small, vulnerable, and useless, which wasn't the first time that's happened since being held captive. I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to being utterly useless. Calm down, Sonic. I thought when my heart began to panic as we moved through the jail. You'll get through this. Your friends are trying to come. This might be your worst situation, but you'll be fine. Keep your head up. Easier thought than done. We entered what seemed like the back of the entire Death Egg ship, and as if this was some sort of celebration, there was Eggman, with his band of evil baddies all staring at me and following me with their gazes. Once again, I suddenly felt strangely vulnerable, being at the mercy of my enemy's feet and greedy hands. Orba and Q-Bar were nowhere to be seen. Zavok threw me to the ground with unnecessary roughness, and retreated to where the others stood. I did my best to rise, being slightly restricted thanks to the cuffs on my arms and ankles. Aw, so you did throw me a party, I said with a mischievous smirk, hinting at the joke I made earlier.
Of sorts.
Eggman replied with the same quirk, adding his own evil smirk.
I suppose you could count this as a going-away party.
I rolled my eyes. My heart began to pump slowly, knowing what was coming. But my brain simply didn't want to admit it. Instead I said, and why is that? I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Unless you're letting me escape. Then in that case, you can keep your parting gifts. I'll just take my leave.
Oh no, far from that, Hedgehog. Far from that. Don't you already know?
I finally dropped the act and simply glared at him, now feigning anger instead of my rising panic. He's gotta be joking! My brain yelled.
No? Well then, let me show you!
With that, Eggman pressed a button. The wall behind me rose slowly and gave way to a sheet of pure black. Only this black was deeper than any I've ever seen. The only thing that disrupted it were tiny dots of stars that seemed to barely even be winking with life and color. I stared at the infinite abyss of space, now suddenly filled with dread and many thoughts that one could think when staring at the face of their own death. It looked instantly cold and unwelcoming. Sure, I had been thrown out to space before, but I had landed safely back at Mobius. This was different. I was being thrown out into a place where I would surely die. Being bound in chains and covered in wounds when my home was being destroyed and I would continue to be useless. That's what scared me the most.
Is it a joke to you now, nuisance?
I whipped my head to him, remembering where I was. I saw that they were all now hiding behind a wall that had a window big enough for all of them to watch and see. That didn't help much. Eggman, this is crazy. You don't actually want to do this.
Of course I want to do this.
Eggman roared with all his might, slamming his hands down onto his Eggmobile.
I have suffered with these losses against you and your pals. These past years has led me to dark and horrible places. I now have you in my grasp, and I am not going to waste this moment. Will absolutely not waste my chance at finally ending you. It has been enough.
And then the doors began to open, almost dramatically. I frantically looked around, trying to find something to grasp onto as the sucking winds began to pull my feet forward. Unfortunately, there was nothing, and I had a feeling that he chose this particular spot on purpose. I had no way to stop and save myself. The sound of suction enveloped my ears as I began to slide away faster from them, and I dug my feet into the ground, but no matter what I did, nothing helped my problem. I looked up at my enemy. For what felt like the first time, I felt utter and pure rage and hatred towards him. The ship spun away. One moment, I felt like I was falling, and the next I felt weightless, as I was floating in one direction, having no way to change my direction. The vacuum of space sucked away all noise, as if I were in water. The chains undid themselves, having gone far enough away from the ship to deactivate. But I still didn't have a chance. One thought presented itself in my head as I watched the Death Egg quickly fall away amongst the stars, along with the ships flying to and fro, for whatever reason, not noticing the tiny blue speck that I was. I had failed.
Gadget had arrived just in time to see Sonic being thrown out into space, watching with growing horror. He had looked where all of the prisoners were being held, letting them free as he went, wondering why he wasn't being attacked, and found out as the alarm layered his existence to the whole ship, and wondering why he hadn't found the hero yet. Now he knew, and his legs shook with a fear and shock, staring at the baddies and feeling as if he couldn't move. Otherwise they would find him out and they would most likely kill him.
And with that, marks our victory. We have finally succeeded with our goal in world domination. No fool will stand against us now. What should we tell the world? We have told them that Sonic has died before, but that little white lion was soon found out. Now that his fate has finally been set, how are we going to strike that same fear into their hearts?
Eggman sat there for a long moment, staring darkly at where his arch-nemesis had been only moments before. His hand gripped at one of the handles in his Eggmobile. Then came his dark reply.
Tell them that their little rebellion is over. Show no mercy to the resistance. We will show them that this is their end.
No!
Something inside Gadget snapped, and he covered his mouth to stop a choked sob that threatened to squeak out as tears filled his eyes. Though that didn't help much, as Knuckles' voice came out from his intercom, much louder than necessary.
Kid, what's wrong? What happened? Are you okay?
All 6 heads turned to him immediately.
Run!
Came his only thought, and that he did. He turned a full 180, and sprinted away as fast as he could, taking off his mic and purposefully crushing it so that he couldn't tear the commander's voice rambling in his ear. He ran and never turned back, hearts pounding in his chest in fear. The 6 baddies watched the Red Wolf flee with his life depended on it. Shadow got ready to chase after him, but Eggman stopped him with the motion of a hand.
Don't. This will help our cause. One way or another, they will believe us. If told from him, then it'll make our job all that much easier.
Shadow righted himself and nodded once. Alarm blared on.